chelo, amalunko onye melo, amalo onye dị mma na onye dị njọ. Asị na anya na-afụ obi, asị na anya na-afụ ime obi, afụ nke onye chelo.
Once upon a time, there lived a kingdom called the Azuzu Kingdom. Now, in that kingdom, there was what you call the women's group. Women who were married, who had children, were members of the group. Usually, they were 20, 30 years, 40, 50, 60, and above. Now, at this time, the leader of the group was a woman called Madame Udru. Udru had been a leader for 5 years, and everyone obeyed and listened to her rules and instructions. Now, she always organized parties, events for women to come and attend. Within the group, there were some people who liked Madame Udru, and there were those who did not. They saw Madame Udru as a wicked woman. She only took care of her friends, her own clique, but she did not care for any other person that was not part of her clique. Now, Udru liked people to obey her. She liked to be controlling. However, one of the members refused to be controlled. Her name was Nkiru. Nkiru was somebody you can describe as being an introvert, somebody who kept to herself. She rarely went for the meetings of the group, and she rarely went for the parties. She only contributed for causes that she believed in, maybe contributions to provide food for the less privileged in their kingdom, contributions to provide scholarship for the less privileged in their kingdom. But if Madame Udru asked for contribution to buy a shibi, Nkiru refused to do that if she was not going for the event. And these are things that Madame Udru did not like about Nkiru. During this time, Nkiru was pregnant. She was heavily pregnant and was going to give birth at any time. She had a loving husband called Ofo. They were very happy. This pregnancy was going to be their first child. Now, one day after a meeting, some group of friends came to visit Nkiru, and they told her that Madame Udru had brought up her issue again, saying that who does Nkiru think she is? How can we organize meeting and she will not come? Is she the only person that is pregnant? It is that her husband that is spoiling her. The other day, we asked everybody to contribute money, but that Shebi were going to wear to the palace, and she refused to contribute money, saying she's not going. If she's not going, and so what? That is what the women told Nkiru that Madame Udru had said. What is this woman's problem? Nkiru asked. Why won't she leave me alone? Every time she's always looking for my trouble. I don't like going for these events. And now that I'm pregnant, I don't need to be moving around all the time. Why is she always stressing me like this? One of the women now said, Nkiru, you have to be careful. This Madame Udru, if she doesn't like somebody, she will go all out to punish that person. Punish me because of what? You know that your husband recently won a contract from the palace that her own husband wanted and he did not get. So that is also adding to her anger towards you, one of the women said. And so how does that concern me? Nkiru asked. Now, the women left and Nkiru kept pondering on what they had told her. This issue of Madame Udru always looking for her trouble, always looking for her face, was getting to her. Madame Udru liked people who were submissive to her, who she could control, who were always doing eye service for her. But Nkiru was not that person. She had always been somebody who kept to herself. She was very reserved right from childhood. And now it was difficult for her to change. She didn't like pretense, and that is why she didn't go for the meeting all the time. Because most of the time, the agendas that Madame Udru was pushing was self-centered agendas. One day, Nkiru's husband of four told her that he had sent for the gardener to come and garden the compound. They had weeds growing and they needed somebody to cut it down. Their old gardener had retired and they needed a new young person who can do the work as their compound was very big. So he told his wife that in the next 2 hours she should allow the man to come in and do the gardening. Nkiru said okay. So her husband left. After a while, Nkiru had knock on the door. She went and opened the door and there stood a young man. He said he was the gardener her husband had asked to come. Nkiru said, "Oh, yes, my husband told me. Please go to the back of the house. You will see the instruments that are needed and you can go ahead and start the work." And with that, she closed the door. Nkiru closed the door and went upstairs to her room. She was heavily pregnant and very tired, so she wanted to rest. She knew that her maid, who had gone to the market earlier that morning, would soon come back. If there's anything that the gardener needed, he would always ask her maid. So Nkiru went to sleep. The next thing, as Nkiru was sleeping, she could feel somebody touching her body. And immediately she woke up. And to her surprise, the gardener was in her bedroom. "What are you doing here?" she shouted. As the man was about to talk, the next thing, the door burst open. And Nkiru could see women from her group shouting and coming and saying, "Nkiru, so it is true? You're sleeping around with small, small boys?" Nkiru was shocked for a moment. She just woke up. What is going on here? As she was trying to process what was happening, Madame Uju came out of the crowd and said, "You see, I told you people, this woman is a harlot. Look at it, look at it." And immediately everybody turned to the gardener and he was naked. His shirt was off, his trousers were off. The only thing he had on was his pants. And one of the men asked him, "What are you doing here?" "No, it is she that asked me to come here." "Who?" Nkiru shouted. "You now. You're the one that told me I should come to your room." Hey, everybody shouted. "Nkiru, you? As you're pregnant like this?" Hey, God of mercy. Everybody shouted. Some people now began to run outside and start calling the whole village. Nkiru was so embarrassed. She was so confused. What is the meaning of this? And before anybody could say anything, Nkiru had been branded as a harlot, a woman who has been committing adultery. And in their custom, a woman who commits adultery has to be stoned to death and her body thrown into the evil forest. Nkiru was afraid. She had to think fast. "Why are you doing this?" She turned to the man. "Where do I know you from? What is the meaning of this?" Madam, why are you denying me now? Eh? The other time you said you liked it. What is the meaning of this?" Nkiru said. "Who asked you to do this to me?" Now, some people had gone to call Nkiru's husband, while some other women dragged Nkiru, forced her out of her bed, and took her straight to the palace. When they got to the palace, the king asked them what is going on. And Madame Uju spoke up. Madame Uju said that they have been hearing rumors that Nkiru was sleeping around with small boys in the village. The cabinet members were surprised. Eh? Then Madame Uju said, "And today we caught her red-handed trying to sleep with this young man. Please, young man, speak up." And the gardener said that he was walking outside when Nkiru came and met him and told him to come to her room. When he came to her room, she told him to undress, that she wanted to sleep with him. Nkiru began to cry that this is a lie, that I've never met this man before in all my life. It was just today that my husband said a new gardener was coming. I've never seen him before. Nkiru now said, "Wait, let my husband come. My husband will explain to you people that I've never seen this man before." But Madame Uju shouted, "Your Highness, we cannot allow her to continue to stay here according to our custom. We have to throw her into the evil forest. All the other women agreed and shouted. They were witnesses. They saw everything according to them. And the Igwe then said, Nkiru, I did not expect this from you. But since you have been caught in this ungodly act, it is my judgment that you be stoned and thrown to the evil forest. Nkiru began to shout, I am pregnant. Why don't you consider my pregnancy? Shut up, you stupid woman. Who knows if this pregnancy even belongs to your husband? By that time, Nkiru's husband came and he asked, what is going on here? Nobody spoke up. And the king told him all that had happened. Ofo shouted, it is not possible, Igwe. It is a lie. And Ofo turned to the gardener and said, you? What do you mean by you slept with my wife? And the gardener for a moment hesitated because he could see how angry Ofo was. But then it seemed as if he picked up courage and repeated his story again. That Nkiru, Ofo's wife, wanted to sleep with him. And then Madame Idru confirmed and said other women saw her. We have been hearing rumors of her sleeping with other men. Before anybody could blink, some young people had dragged Nkiru out of the palace according to the Igwe's orders and took her towards the evil forest. Because Nkiru was pregnant, they did not stone her. Instead, they took her directly inside the evil forest and left her there. By this time, because of the stress, Nkiru had gone into labor. She began to scream for help, but the guards and the women, nobody came to her aid. When it was night, they left her there. Nkiru began to call on the gods that if she was to die here, then let them take her life and take the life of her child. As she was screaming, she heard someone come close to her. Who is there? Who is there? Come out and help me, please. And then a woman came out. Nkiru recognized her. Her name was Femi. Femi was not from their tribe. One of their village men had married her and brought her to their kingdom. When Femi first came to their kingdom, she was very shy and kept to herself as she did not understand the language. But the first person who befriended her was Nkiru. Nkiru turned to her and said, please help me. Femi came up close to her and said, I'm so sorry for what happened to you. How can I help you? What can I do? And then Nkiru told her, my baby is coming. Please help me. Femi, being a young woman who had never been pregnant before, did not know what to do. But she tried her best. Nkiru opened her legs and Femi told her to push and push that the head of the baby was already out. So Nkiru, dead of the night, in the evil forest, began to push and pray to the gods. She was bleeding so much and she was passing out. But Femi will always wake her up. Push, push, the baby is almost here. And finally, the baby came. But the baby wasn't crying. What is wrong? Nkiru asked her. And Femi said, I don't know. But shouldn't the baby be crying? This baby is not crying. And then Nkiru opened her arms and said, give me my child. Femi gave her the child. And Nkiru could see immediately that the child was dying. Nkiru put her hand in between her legs, took her blood with her hands, and raised it to the gods and said, let judgment come to the people who have done this to me. Then she turned to Femi and said, "My baby has died. Please bury her next to me. Her name is Chika." The next thing, Nkiru passed on, and Femi that night, by herself, had to dig a grave for both the mother and the child. Now, years passed, and Femi herself became pregnant. During this time, Madam Uju was still the leader of the women's group, and Femi was struggling to attend the women's group because she did not like what had happened to Nkiru. Additionally, the women were not welcoming towards her because she was from another tribe. So she didn't like to go for meetings. She liked to keep to herself. One day, her mother came to visit her, and she told her mother that she needed somebody to help her, but it had to be a young girl from their own tribe. Her mother said okay. So they searched and searched from their family side, but they couldn't find anybody. One day, Femi was coming back from the market, and then she saw a girl under a tree. Ma, please help me, help me. I don't have anywhere to go to. I can cook, I can clean. Please help me." Femi, because she was kind, wanted to help the girl for that day. She did not think to keep the girl as somebody that will help her during this her pregnancy period. So she took the girl home and told her that she can eat and sleep here, but the next day she has to leave. The girl agreed. She ate and slept, but before Femi could wake up the next morning, the girl had scrubbed and cleaned the whole house. She had cooked breakfast for Femi and her husband, Obiora. "Who asked you to do all this?" Femi asked her. "Ma, please, I want to help you. You were so kind to me yesterday. I really want to help you." Femi said, "No, I don't think you can stay. You may have to leave. But please, ma, I want to stay here. I don't have anywhere else to go. Truly, I am a good person. I can clean, mop, do everything you want me. I can go to market. I can cook." Something in Femi's heart paused, and Femi asked her, "What is your name?" And the girl said, "My name is Chika." And then Femi allowed her to stay. Now, Chika's job was to help Femi clean, cook, go to the market, as her pregnancy now was more advanced and she could not move a lot. Obiora was happy that at least Femi had agreed to take somebody from his own tribe to help. He was now at peace. And so the days went by. One day, Femi was sleeping, and then she saw herself in her living room. As she sat down in her living room, on her left was a woman who was wrapped in white. The woman's face was like the face of Madam Uju. And the woman gave Ifemi something to drink. The woman said, "Take this and drink, my child. It will help you and your baby." But Femi was hesitant. "Why should I take it from you? When I came to your kingdom, you did not like me." "Oh no, don't say that. We love you here. We like you. Take this drink and it will help you and your baby." As Femi reached out to take the drink, from nowhere, Chika appeared and hit the cup, and the drink fell down. Immediately the drink fell down, Femi woke up. She was very shocked and surprised at her dream, but she did not say anything. The next day, everything was normal. Chika was cleaning, mopping, going to the market, cooking, making sure everything was okay. Now, after a few weeks, 3 members from the women's group and Madam Uju came to visit Femi. They came to see her because she had not been coming for meetings, and Femi explained to them that it is because of her pregnancy that she cannot move around. The doctors have told her she had to take it easy. Oh, it is well with you, they said. They offered her some gifts. They brought some food and some fruits for her. And then from nowhere, Madame Mudru gave her some cola that she should eat to help her and the baby. But Femi said no. In her tribe, they don't eat cola. So she rejected it. At first, Madame Mudru was surprised, but she said, "Oh, it's true, it's true. It's all right, my daughter, it's all right." And then, after talking for a bit, they stood up and left. As they were going out, Madame Mudru snuck away from the group and went to the back of the house. At the back of the house, under the orange tree, she dug a hole and put the kola nut inside that hole. She turned to her left and turned to her right, but nobody was watching her, and then she left. What she did not know was that the girl, Chika, was watching her from a window inside the house. Chika's eyes were red. The next day, people ran to Femi's house. "Femi, Femi, come, oh, come and see, come and see. Hey, the gods have saved you." What is it? What is it? Femi came out and there were so many women from their group in her compound. "Come and see what the gods have done for you," they shouted. "Hey, we did not know this man was so wicked," some people were saying. "What happened now? Explain to me." And then they took Femi to the market square, and there they saw Madame Mudru. She was mad. Madame Mudru was naked and running mad. And they said that Madame Mudru had confessed that she was trying to poison Femi because Obiora did not marry the girl from her group that she wanted Obiora to marry. Instead, Obiora rejected the girl and married Femi. And because of that, Madame Mudru had wanted to kill Femi. Madame Mudru had also confessed to some of their members that she had killed out of jealousy or envy. And one of such women was Nkiru, the woman who was thrown into the evil forest years ago. Femi was so shocked and surprised. How can this be? How is it that the gods have saved her from what she did not even know? No wonder, in her dream, maybe Madame Mudru was trying to poison her. Ha! Femi went back home to tell her husband and Chika what she had heard. When she got home, she saw her husband, but she did not see Chika. She thought that Chika may have gone out. Maybe she herself was in the market square because everybody was there. So, but when it was night, Chika did not come back. Femi began to be scared. She told her husband to go and look for Chika. Maybe Madame Mudru had done something to her. They searched and searched, but they did not see Chika. That night, when Femi was sleeping, Chika came to her in her dream. Femi again was sitting in her living room, and Chika appeared. Standing next to Chika was Nkiru. Femi recognized Nkiru and said, "Ah, what are you doing here?" And Nkiru smiled. "Femi, don't you recognize Chika? This is my daughter. Remember, you buried her for me." And then Chika smiled and said, "Auntie Femi, how are you?" Immediately, Femi was scared. What is going on? What is happening here? What did I do to you? I tried. Wasn't I kind to you? Nkiru said, "Oh, no, no, don't panic. Don't panic. I sent Chika to protect you." "What do you mean?" Femi asked. Nkiru explained that in the afterlife, a matter had come before the ancestors. The ancestors were informed that Madame Mudru was yet to kill another member. And the souls of the other members she had killed were very angry. So they tried to protect Femi from Madame Mudru, but they did not know how to do it. They needed somebody who could move from the spirit world to the physical world. And the only person who could do that they knew of, was Chika. Because Chika is still a child, she can cross between both worlds and nothing will happen to her. So Chika came into this world to protect you, Femi.
Nkiru further revealed that Madame Uju had come to Femi's house and planted a seed of destruction. Chika saw this and uprooted the seed and took it back to Madame Uju's house. And that is what caused Madame Uju's madness.
Madame Uju wanted to kill you, but I told the ancestors that you are a kind woman. Even though we're not from the same tribe, you are a kind person. And I did not want Madame Uju to kill another of our members. Femi began to cry, and immediately she woke up.